Well, it looks like the SEC cover-up is continuing. Why? Well, because the SEC is stopping at nothing to protect William Hinman from actually being deposed by Ripple. Today we're going to be going over what's going on with the case and what are some upcoming deadlines that we're actually going to need to take a look at. Because Ripple just recently responded, because Ripple just came up with a deadline of its own that it wants Judge Netburn to rule on before that date. This is very significant to the case, so you're going to want to follow along. Also, Cathie Wood of Ark Invest recently said that there is a crash coming. Now, there's a lot of people that say a crash is coming, but what specifically is she talking about? Well, she is talking about the stock market, but she's also talking about the crypto market and what effect a crash might have on the crypto market. But that's not really the news. The news is why she thinks that crash is coming and what that is going to do to the crypto sector. And right now, it is July 2019 because the price of XRP really has not budged. I'm kidding, it is 2021 of course, but the price of XRP has still not budged. Why? Because it is coupled to Bitcoin. But is it really about to decouple and explode? Well, if you look at one huge influencer on YouTube, you might be thinking it's about to. I'm going to tell you what he said and why some of the things he said were completely wrong. Hey everybody, welcome to the Late Night Grind on this channel. Right now I'm covering the Ripple versus SEC case along with other cryptocurrency news and investment markets. So if any of those topics interest you, make sure you click the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell notification icon so YouTube will notify you when I release a new video. And as always, if you're feeling generous, I'd greatly appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm, helps YouTube to promote this video to new audiences. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. Alright, well with that, let's jump into it. So the reason I talk about the SEC cover-up is it's not really a cover-up in the conspiratorial movie sense, but it's more of a cover-up in that they are trying at all costs to not let Ripple depose William Hinman. Now they've done a couple of things. Now first of all, they've actually opposed Ripple's request to depose William Hinman several times now, and by doing that, they're obviously showing that they're trying to protect him. It's interesting why they're trying to protect him here, because specifically some of the things that he talked about, mostly revolving Ethereum, has a lot to play in this case that the SEC has against Ripple. Now, obviously, if you've been following along, you know that William Hinman was one of the SEC chairs that brought this lawsuit against Ripple. He no longer works there, but Ripple's trying to get a deposition, and they're going to ask him some really, really interesting questions. So he doesn't work there anymore. He actually works for a private company, Simpson Thacher, which, by the way, has made millions of taking Chinese companies IPO in the United States. It's really interesting how the crypto market has played into that, being that a lot of these companies that they represent have made millions of dollars on Ethereum. Well, William Hinman was one who gave his famous Ethereum is not a security speech when he did work for the SEC. So regardless, the SEC is paying a ton of money to their legal defense team to make sure that William Hinman is not deposed. They do not want Ripple talking to him. The SEC has actually written another letter to Judge Netburn, another motion, basically asking them to decide on Ripple's fair defense notice. The SEC wants the judge to strike down Ripple's fair defense notice because in the SEC's view, that's going to make a deposition of William Hinman irrelevant. At least that's what they said in their paper, which is completely ridiculous. It is not irrelevant at all. Because what William Hinman's viewpoints are and what he said about Ethereum really have nothing to do with a fair notice defense. Much more on how they came up with declaring Ethereum a security and XRP not. So Ripple came in and said, we want to depose William Hinman and we want to do it on July 19th. Now that is a date that is quickly approaching. It does not give the judge a lot of time to actually make a decision on it, and thus gives the SEC even less time to try to go in and protect him for some reason. So Judge Netburn has some very big decisions that she's going to have to make here. Number one, deciding on a ruling against Ripple's fair notice defense. Is she actually going to strike it? I doubt it. And number two, or is the judge going to let Ripple depose William Hinman? I think she is. According to Jeremy Hogan, who is an outside attorney covering this case, he feels that the judge will rule in favor of Ripple in this particular motion. And if that's the case, it will just be another long string of motions that Ripple has been winning in this case since the very beginning. Now, is that why Bitboy Crypto, who is one of the biggest influencers on YouTube that talks about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, and now more recently XRP, is that one of the reasons that he thinks that XRP is going to explode or essentially decouple from Bitcoin? And I know a lot of people in the XRP space, the XRP community, do not like him, But regardless, at least in his last video, he points out that one of the main reasons that he is holding XRP isn't necessarily because he's in love with the project or the technology so amazing, but because of the fact that he thinks that price is going to go up. So credit to him for at least stepping out and saying that and not pretending like he's all of a sudden an XRP army member. Because in his last video, he tried to explain how essentially XRP is somehow a stable coin now, and that their secret white paper explains all that and how they're going to be one of the stable coins that actually overtakes Tether, which is really interesting because XRP is not a stable coin. And they didn't come out with a secret white paper. It was actually just the Ripple blog page on their website announcing some of these things. So I'm not quite sure exactly what information was being fed to him or if he just read things wrong, but he called the XRPL, which is the new XRP ledger, a stable coin. I don't know how he had actually come to that assumption because the XRP ledger is just that. It's a ledger. Now, possibly, maybe one of the assumptions that he made was that because the ledger plays so nice with so many different things, like all other cryptocurrencies, including NFTs, and even with the fiat currency world, maybe in his eyes, it kind of acts like a stablecoin even though it's not a stablecoin because its value isn't pegged to a certain currency. So somebody like him who is so big on the YouTube world, he has so many subscribers, such a big subscriber base, should really be getting one of Ripple's own on to talk about all the nuts and bolts of actually what's going on. And it honestly shouldn't be too hard for him to do. Because right now, Cathie Wood just gave an interview to somebody talking about why she thinks that there's a deflationary crash coming to the markets. And why most people think there's actually an inflationary crash coming to the markets, but she says when most people think one thing is coming, she tries to think the opposite. And that's exactly how she's made her living. And she's made very good calls. She's absolutely made spot-on calls with Tesla, with Amazon, with Bitcoin thus far. And one of the points that she brings up about the crypto space and why it's so resilient in the traditional market world, if it would have dropped 50%, it would have been catastrophic global financial meltdown. Well, the crypto world essentially just experienced that. They went from about a $2 trillion market cap throughout all of the crypto ecosystem to about 1 trillion or a little bit more than a trillion. That's almost a 50% crash. And basically, the crypto markets just kept right on chugging. And not only has it not completely crashed, and not only is there more optimism in the cryptocurrency market than ever before, this is within the sphere of looking at all the different governments, specifically the US and the SEC, that actually want to regulate everything. There are now multiple senators that want to get rid of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies altogether. Now, they were called out by taking money from special interests that basically paid them to say that. But nonetheless, they're the ones in power right now. So it's something that should be keeping your attention. Because as CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies, become more of a thing and more of a talking point, you have to think of it more like that is the antithesis, that's the opposite of essentially what a cryptocurrency is. Cryptocurrency is not controlled by a government or an entity. A CBDC is. So even though XRP can play nice with both, and essentially that's what some people are saying now gives it the most power of any of these digital currency projects, there are still people on both sides that are going to be fighting for control of that. And delving into a little bit of the conspiracy theory on the SEC versus Ripple, there's some people that think that the SEC case against Ripple and XRP is essentially the United States government trying to take some form of backdoor control, and that this case is really just smoke and mirrors. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I would love to hear it. Also, don't forget to visit the community section on my channel. And as always, don't forget to check out these videos that YouTube is recommending to you guys. Once again, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Thank you so much for my current subscriber base and for giving it a big thumbs up. And I'll see you guys on the next video.